Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning. You had a good week. Glad you could join us today. We've got Darren Calcutt. Is that proper pronunciation? With us here from Canada, and he's going to show us his layout and his remote operation system that he's got, and all that good stuff. But first, Jerry, you want to do the rundown this morning?
Sure. Hold on. Let me start at the top. I got to scroll up. Hold on. Good morning to Peter Evans, John Tanzillo. John, I hope you feel better soon. Wigway, Grandpa Carell, Rob Seaman, Mike Dunstan, Dave BNSF, Almar, John Knopfel, Container Man, Gerald Stewart, John Dawson, CB&Q Mark, CDP Chuck, Chris Brew, Train Fan, Race Fan, and that is it. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining.
Good morning, guys. I'm glad you could be here. Bill is, as I understand, is supposed to be back in Thailand this morning, but I think he told us he couldn't be here. I don't remember. But anyway, Steve's working today. He's going to wish he was here for this because this is pretty cool. Good. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So without wasting more time, because Darren's got a lot. Excuse me, a lot of information to give you guys. Yeah, we've already heard it all. I didn't tell him he's going to have to say it all again.
Let's start with just kind of an overview of the layout, and then we'll kind of get into the nuts and bolts from there. Give us a quick tour of the layout as a whole, and maybe a little bit of what's going on underneath and that whole concept.
Oh, nervous.
I know. Don't be nervous.
Nah, no reason to be nervous.
Yeah, thanks. So I built this layout in a 12 and a half square foot room. It is the product of a modular layout that my parents had made. Basically square boxes of wood, plywood, 1-inch styrofoam on top, and then track. I designed the track so that it's all 2-inch center, be interchanged easily. So I can take a straight table out, curve. I can change the curve corner tables. It'll all mesh up really easy. The joiners just slide back and away you go. Everything electrically is all done by one bus wire right there. So from table to table, so all the remote switches, everything, signals, they all run off the same power. That's about it in a nutshell. Oh yeah, it's sitting on aluminum poles. These aluminum poles go into the studs in my room. So when I built it, I built metal brackets on the studs. They hold the aluminum poles out. And so the layout just sits in there. When I'm done someday, I can just pull the aluminum poles out, patch the hole, and away I go.
Nice.
So, how far back into the wall do the poles recess in?
Back wall is an exterior wall, it's 6 inches, and interior is a 4-inch wall.
So do you go all the way through the drywall to the...
I went as far as I could to make sure I had good stability. I don't know if I can pull one out. No, I guess I can't. There's
No,
quite
it's
a
okay.
weight on the tape. I went with aluminum poles, and apparently they're real strong, and I found out they're amazing. They'll
Yeah.
hold a lot of weight.
Yeah, they will. Yes, they will.
The backdrop is from Train Junkies. He merged mountain scene because I love Kentucky. We drove through there. It was gorgeous. And he merged it seamless. It just goes beautifully. And it really makes the layout pop.
Oh yeah, backdrops do go a long way
Enough
in
about adding a
giving you
backdrop.
depth.
Oh, it's amazing. So lots of work to be done yet. I'm always something to do. Yeah, but that's it. That's it in a nutshell.
I think Darren has the most NS locomotives I've ever seen.
Take us through a little bit of your command and control before we get into the real nuts and bolts of what you got going on with the
So
remote
yeah,
stuff.
I use NCE. You can see them
Hey,
on the left.
Darren,
Command station. Sorry.
Darren, can you
Yeah.
turn your phone sideways?
Oh.
Yeah, there you go.
Sorry, guys. Thanks for the help. So, yeah, 2 boosters on the left, so on the layout, because I do have a lot of locomotives on there. And then command station on the top for programming, and on the bottom goes to the main line. 2 breakers there, just for protection. Got lots of amperage. I used my own transformers. I bought them. Oh yeah, up here. The sound generated online is by sound decoders. So they're connected to the main line and then piped to the computer for the sound that you'll hear.
So those are sound decoders, and they're connected to the rails, the DCC circuitry.
Yep.
So that.
Yep.
Very cool.
When you
Now, do you also
yeah,
have physical speakers in the room?
I don't. So you can see it plugs right into the side of the streaming laptop. I don't hear anything. Thank God. Because some people leave the horn on, and I'm like, I can't have that at 3:00 in the morning.
Oh, so in the room, you don't hear any of your locomotives.
Yeah, it's
locomotive noise.
idling right now. You see the volume.
Yeah.
Oops.
Oh, that's cool.
I hear nothing.
I got to ask you this: how did you figure all this out?
I just love it. I love it. I mean, yeah. These little gizmos, that's a serial port server. So it connects to my NCE, and I can have multiple computers now control trains. If you normally have your USB port or a serial port, you can only have one computer connected. So I figured out a way to get multiple, because now I have this one, I have the laptop that we're going to be using, and then I have my one in the office that I use to control, plus a virtual server that I run. So, yeah.
Okay, so I got a quick question. Do you have a list of components, let's just say for the sake of argument, that I wanted to begin to do this tomorrow for my layout? Do you have a comprehensive list of the bare minimum of what it would take to get it done?
Good question.
To get what I'm doing, I've overdone it here. What all you need is computer. Yeah, computer into your NCE. Away you go. Well, or whatever you're using, Digitrax, I think.
Right. You don't have to have NCE, right?
No,
I presume.
no. And JMRI is what I use for an interface.
This is kind of off the subject that you're talking about right now, but Roy, Container Man, had a question about the aluminum poles. Wanted to know what kind of brackets you were using in the walls on the studs.
There's steel brackets, so I'll make a shape with my hand here. So I got one bracket like this. So this is screwed into the 2x4, and then it holds the top half of the bracket. Then I got one like this screwed into the 2x4, so the two parts go out. Then I slide in the aluminum pole in between the two brackets.
Just makes a receiver for the poles. Right?
Yeah.
Pretty
Sorry?
simple. It just makes a receiver for a pickup truck. You know, you slide your hitch in. Yeah. Pretty simple.
You just slide it in there and away you go.
Yeah.
And Dennis Steve Anderson says, you really want a project like this, I would say outsource it.
Well, I mean, that's why I was curious if you had anything online that, you know, if you've created a components list, you know, like for instance, is there anything that you've developed that is, what's the word? There's a fancy term for it. You've developed it. It's your sole, you are the sole source person that did this, or is all of this something that is commercially available for anyone who wanted to do it?
Yeah, it's all commercially available. I mean, you just got to get JMR to talk to your layout. That's all. That's it. It's
more than
really,
I want to cover.
it looks complicated. It's not. It's really simple.
Any of the videos on your channel walk through any of this process?
How to set it up? No, I don't have anything like that.
Okay.
If Sparky's online, I've been to his house and started setting it up, and we'll hopefully shortly have his layout online so you can tour around on his layout. And
Oh,
really
wow.
like that. It's much bigger than mine. Mine, 10 minutes, you're around it. Sparky's, you'll be 45 minutes, an hour to get around his layout.
Okay.
So let's talk a little bit about the hardware. What kind of camera are you pushing on your flat car?
So, here's my flat car.
No, here, I can show the pictures you sent me.
Yeah, that would be better.
Let me do that. Let's see. Let me get the ones pulled up here. Bear with me just a second.
But the flat car comes, I'll talk away here.
Okay.
It's a Wathers depressed center depressed flat car. It has 4 trucks on it. So I
Right.
took the trucks and I made them pickup trucks from Atherton pickup trucks. Brought the wires up.
Okay. That's quite a undertaking there.
Yeah. So on the very back of it, you can see a capacitor sticking up. So that has one of the voltage rectifiers. You can see the other one with the capacitor sticking up. That's a voltage rectifier. Changes the DCC signal to DC. Then behind the camera brains is a regulator. So I bring it down to 5 volts. Then I power the camera. So the camera has a ribbon cable that takes the photo, obviously the video as we go. The new cameras now have RTSP streaming capabilities. They do a much better job than the old ones. Yeah, and then I added, you'll see a lens. I just cut up a dollar store pair of glasses so that the camera now focuses 6 inches away instead of 6 feet away. A camera will normally is made for everyday use, but I want it for the model. So
So on the front of that car right there by the couplers, those lights, I guess.
I do have ditch lights on one model, so I use the same DCC number as the lead locomotive. So when I use the ditch lights will show up on the camera. And I'm working on one that will have an actual headlight. So when you use the system, it mimics a headlight and the ditch lights.
That is just really cool.
That's
Well, then
amazing.
here's what it looks like. Let me get this by itself. So that's the view that you get. And that looks pretty cool.
I was trying to figure out where it is on the layout here. Can't find it somewhere. But yeah, so why I go through JMRI. JMRI allows people to operate this locomotive remotely. I open up the port, allow it open with people, and I set it up. Only one locomotive is public. I don't want anybody running anything else, of course. So it's actually short address 1 you can run, and it powers that locomotive, pushes the camera around, and away you go. You can drive my locomotive on my layout. How did you get the wipers? I can see the comments too. How'd you get the wipers? The wipers are an overlay on the video streaming.
I like this one. Roy's telling Dennis he'd have to go get there and drive him to his house because trying to describe direction to a non-Oklahoman to Dennis's house would take too long.
I'm there.
Oklahomian.
I just want to go though when it's winter here.
Steve Anderson had a question. Have you thought of putting this in a dummy loco?
I don't. Okay, I want to go get the camera. Where is it? Just a sec. Here.
Yeah, but you really don't need it to be in a dummy loco because you're in a loco. You're not.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. He doesn't really need to put it in one.
Okay, this is the newest one. Camera.
We get set up here. Which one's he showing here? There we go.
So again, here is the camera's backwards. Okay, that is the voltage rectifier. That is I can't even see myself. That's the regulator. But anyways, the camera brings, can't see. It's so small now. It's less than, I don't need a dummy locomotive anymore is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, it wouldn't add anything to it. I think it'd be hard to get all that in a shell.
It's so small, but I do put it on. It's so much easier on this unit. For pickup trucks, I don't have to worry about dirty track. I mean, I'm using so many. It does draw quite a bit of current because it is powering a battery also. So right now you can still see the stream because the battery's running. I hope it is. Otherwise, yeah. The battery's still running. So
like a keep alive, yeah.
Online. And I think I can go like 2 hours.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's amazing. But yeah, this one is the first one of the RTSP streaming video. It's only 720. China's making a 1080 for me, so it should be here in a couple weeks. But again, I on the front, the lens is just that little guy in the front. It's so small nowadays. I mean, I could fit that inside a cab easily. It's come a long ways. I remember originally using radio frequency cameras, and they, you know how they would flicker when they go by a light and give you the interference on the camera video. So I'm just going to put this back because I want to push it around for you.
I was trying to watch the chat for.
So Darren, did you get Is there somebody else doing this? They help you do this?
I know the guys in California are building cameras and putting them on the layout and letting people run remotely. I'm the first one. I've been doing this since I've been doing it long time.
When you say the guys in California, are you talking about
what's their
Silicon
name?
Valley Rails?
Yeah, Silicon. So they'll let you
Yeah,
run.
I've actually toured their
Yeah.
layout. I got lucky
I
enough
let
to see it
people
one
run
time.
anytime, 24/7 on my layout, and I wrote my own web page so it looks like you're in the cab of an engineer to run the throttle or run the locomotive. Sorry, spit it out.
Well, I'm gonna put this picture up. Give us a little rundown on how it works.
So that's the view obviously from the camera in there. It does a pretty good job. The bit rate is not high enough on this camera, so you'll see some pixeling when you go too fast. And there's the GUI screen we built. So it's actually JMRI. We redid their web throttle, and this is the reverser handle. I don't know if you can hear that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear it.
Okay. I wasn't sure if the sounds from the website come across. So in the forward position, and then double click brings the handle back. Do you hear locomotive sounds?
No.
No, I'm not hearing it sound.
That's my mistake right here.
Oh, there you go.
So that's the sounds from the decoders. So you're listening to one is the soundtracks and the other one's at ESU.
That's actually an ingenious way of doing the sound because you don't have, instead of trying to pick it up off a speaker,
Bingo. Yep.
it's going right into the system. Yeah, so you don't get any deformation of the sound.
You constantly hear it, just like you would in a locomotive.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hear it ramping up.
I hear it moving. There we go.
Roy wants to know, Darren, how many Norfolk Southern locos you have and how many train cars?
I refuse to answer under the grounds my wife might hear me.
Yeah. He's got a lot, Roy. Trust me. He doesn't have them all on the layout. How many did you say you had on the layout?
46, 46 right now on the layout.
46 on the layout, and he's got at least twice that in storage.
Maybe the correct question to ask is, do you have more locomotives than you have cars?
I got more locomotives than I got brains.
That tends to go hand in hand.
Yeah. That alarm you heard, that's the dead man switch there, the two yellow ones. So if I don't push those every so often, it'll shut the locomotive down. Here's my horn.
Yeah, Steve would love this right here. I'm pretty sure.
Is the cab a specific prototype?
That's a -9, I think. -9. It's really a hack up job, but
Now, did you create all of the graphics as well?
no. The graphics are from another piece of software. Some people will probably recognize them, but they've all been ripped apart, and yeah, it's a lot of work putting it into JMRI because JMRI the black boxes for controlling a generic throttle. Like they just have black boxes showing bell, horn. So
Mark wants to know, can you animate the windshield wipers?
Oh my gosh. I have had people ask me that before. I don't see why I can't, but then I'd have to have dirt marks too, right? Across the screen.
Yeah. Yeah, it would just obstruct the view, I would think.
We're coming up to a turnout. It's number 1005. I do have those remotely controlled.
Almost
Yeah,
shut the
I can remotely turn those and go on to a different track.
But you don't have that enabled where somebody running it remotely can do that, right?
Exactly. That
Yeah.
just asking for disaster.
Yep. That's kind of what that was the first thing that popped into my mind when I heard about running locos remotely on somebody else's layout. I'm thinking it better be set up where they're just going straight and not have to worry about anything.
And we're coming to that big bridge.
So the lights are reflecting through the glass in front of the camera. Is that what that lens flare was all about there?
It is.
That's cool.
Yeah, a lot of people like that. They're like, oh my gosh, that's quite a feature. I didn't plan on it. It just works.
Yeah, it's and that's why it looks cool, because it's a natural thing that you would normally see on a glass surface like that.
I'm just going to give it a little more speed.
Tell us about this bridge, Darren.
That's quite an engineering feat to get it lined up properly. So 48-inch radius bridge, 3D printed, and the angles to get it lined up so that, you know, I knew the turnout being a number 8, 7.5 degree. And since this one here has 2 turnouts in a row to get onto the main, so 15 degrees. So 15 degrees on one side, 7.5 on the other. It was quite the planning to get it. Any control I touch will bring like if I do a throttle thing, then I don't have to worry about the dead man switch. But if I don't touch it for a minute, then it starts alarm. I can go forward, backwards, yeah, whatever I want.
Yeah, Mike Benson says, very cool. I've seen the setup on SVL, and I think this is cooler. It is very cool.
It's taken a
That's
lot
a
of
great, that's a great look right there. I mean, I've never seen a model railroad camera look more real than that right there.
It's coming.
Yeah,
I'll be really happy when the 1080p comes, because it will be so sharp and the less pixelating on the screen.
Well, you know, another thing that I don't, the ballasting and the track work is immaculate, which also lends so much credibility to the scene.
The only thing that would make this like really credible is that some of those locomotives were dirty.
Yep.
Jerry,
If you want to come over and start airbrushing, you be my guest.
You don't have enough paint.
One a day, you'll be a long time.
Yeah. But it's amazing. It looks real.
Thank you. See if I can go.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, Jerry, I don't know if you got enough paint to weather all those.
Yeah, get a couple of them. You don't need many, just a few.
Just a few of them. Yeah.
So, like I explained earlier in the, I'll call it the green room, my dream, I got a Toronto firm that wants to build me a website, and I'll generate a website where individuals or club layouts can register, put their layout online like I did, and then people can book a time to run on that layout. which I think would just
So you have a choice of railroads you could run, and the site kind of
Yeah,
aggregates that.
Yeah, so
Awesome.
a list of 20, maybe give a little description of each one of the layouts, maybe a button for details so you can see before you go there, or a little video clip, whatever. Okay, I'll choose this one. Away you go. Book your time and drive around on it. It would, I'm sure that big club layouts would have a conductor walk with you to make sure, you know. Yeah, I'll work on it, but I think it's doable. I don't see why we can't have something like that where you can pick and choose. And today I'm going on Dennis's layout. Wake them up 3 o'clock in the morning, blow the horn.
Willow Creek says the backdrop is awesome. That's Train Junkies.
Yep.
You got that from Train Junkies.
Yeah, I put a link earlier in the chat. I have to scroll up quite a ways now probably to find it, but I did put a link in the chat.
It was fun putting it up. Well, it's on 1-inch styrofoam board, so I taped it on the board, on the floor, then put it up behind. I put it up on behind it.
Yeah.
The corners, I left the paper long, so it naturally made a curve around my corners. You'll see the one behind me. And to be able to cut it at the right spot where the tree line matches pretty good. Not perfect, but it's pretty good. You were asking, I think, a couple of weeks ago about the tape to use. So Scotch tape, it does well. I just went to the dollar store and got the Scotch tape, this double-sided, and away you go.
Let me see. I think I may
Mike
have.
Dunstan was wanting to see the throttle. I'm assuming he meant on the.
You mean just this stuff?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. That's all I use.
I use that too for holding stuff down when I'm building fences or something like that. Works really well.
You can see the tape ever so lightly. I can see the line, and you went through rolls of it. I mean, it's the whole length of the unit, the picture. So I'm gonna go backwards for a bit.
You have to think about that.
I'm looking for questions from chat.
For me, it was easy because it's 4 square walls. You've got some rounded areas. But yeah, having the paper overlap, I sent Train Junkies the dimensions and where I wanted my cuts. He was super good at that, so that it meshes up. Like that corner is amazing, where the tree line is just meshes up pretty good.
Mike Dunstan said he wanted a view on the physical throttle that the operator is able to walk around the layout with, something I've considered adding but not yet explored too much.
I couldn't.
Uh-oh.
It's gonna explode!
We're going to hear a boom here in a minute.
I don't know why you would want. There's no reason to have a physical throttle.
Well, I was trying to understand that comment.
Yeah, there's no reason. Like you wouldn't like. You're sitting at your computer. That's your physical throttle, right?
The problem is when you're supposed to be doing your
Unless he means instead of the computer, like you literally have like a proto throttle or something instead. I don't really understand what he's saying there.
I guess if Darren, do you ever like run trains on your layout by yourself and not have people bother you?
Yeah, I many times I have somebody going around, and then I'll pick a different track and away I go.
Okay.
And then they get a kick out of it because hey, there's somebody going by me the other way.
Yeah,
Yes,
right.
that would be cool.
Yeah.
Well, Roy wants to know who said Heath's name 3 times because he showed up. Yeah, Heath, this is one you need to rewatch.
You got a weird watch.
Well, Heath's done a version of this himself already.
Oh, has he?
I don't think he ever had a camera on a car, but his cameras were showing the overall layout. But you could operate his time saver. I think it was I don't know if it was a time saver, but similar.
Yeah, I did have somebody ask. They said, "Can you put a camera up so I can see the whole layout?"
See the overall. That would be nice too.
Yeah, Mike's talking about a throttle that maybe has a screen on it that you can see too, but I've not ever seen one of those. There may be one out there somewhere, but
You just have wireless NCE for yourself, right?
I can do wired. I got wired too, but yeah, NCE is my choice.
But you're wireless.
Yeah, I see Heath is here. I've talked to Heath before on the telephone about what's going on here. That's Human City, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all pretty familiar with Heath here.
yeah, it's always his fault. So.
Well, I would like if you could, you have a website, right?
It's coming. I got
Okay.
a cheap. I got just a slap together landing page for now, but
I would love to see a list of bare minimum either components or because I am very interested in this. I just
Darren,
at this point
Darren,
I'm not ready
another
to do what?
I don't want to cut you off. But Darren, he just wants a parts list so that he can get all this stuff.
oh, that's fine.
Right, because I'm one of those guys that purchases things in advance.
Yep.
And then when I've got everything that I need, I'm already connected to JMRI. That's, what else am I looking at? And the other thing that concerns me the most about it is, you got a huge flat car. I'm HO narrow gauge. So
new cameras really small now. We're getting so small.
how important are the other components on the car to the overall project? Are some of those absolutely necessary? Are some of them just we're doing this because it makes it better, but not necessary?
I chose that. Oh, you can hear the radio chatter too. I have a radio feed actually coming from Norfolk Southern in the States up, and it's streaming on the stream with it too.
Oh, that's cool.
That is just over the top.
Oh, it's
Totally
actually
immersive there.
Yeah, that's
over the top cool.
Steve Anderson says you just need to add a conductor view for your switching operations now.
I did talk to some German fellas to say, how can I get, cause one of the problems with the camera is track. Okay, your layout is compressed. I got 48-inch curve radius. When you go around a corner, the camera is facing this way, your track is going this way. This car, putting the camera right up front, brings the camera more in line with the track, but it's still a problem. So I did talk with a German fella to say, is there a way that we can create some mechanical work where the camera will turn even more than what the track is turning at, so that it stays in the view?
Kind of like the center headlight on a Tucker car.
Yeah. As far as, and then University of Pennsylvania, they're watching me because they want to use it for their train technology course. And his comment was, can I get a rear view so I can see where I'm going backwards? Well, sure, I can put another camera in. It's the streaming is the issue now. Do I do two streams? Do I do a split screen? Those sort of things. Everything can be done. It's just how do you want it done?
right.
What's your favorite locomotive type? And how many locos of Norfolk Southern do you have? Everybody wants to know.
You don't want to know. A lot.
I love
Roars
the
full.
SD80 Max. I mean, Yeah, uh, those are they're massive things. What is it? 83 feet long or something like that?
The only
Massive.
people that have more locomotives are Norfolk Southern.
Honestly,
Might be true.
Yeah, I probably. Well, I'm gonna guess they got about what 3,000 locomotives.
Who knows?
So
And Bernard says he's wondering how long before someone makes a throttle like these drones have with the on-screen views. It's probably coming down the road somewhere.
it's just
It wouldn't surprise me.
So, Dennis, the only thing I would suggest to you is once you get his list, the camera, buy that when you're going to do it, because I'm sure technology would
Technology
change.
will get better. Yeah.
well, it's already gotten. Where's my original one? So okay, so this one here was a year ago. The box is 2.5 inches long. Although I still use the same car, now we're down to 2/3 of that size in just a year. And the newest one, I yet to see. It's coming, but I'm sure it'll be even smaller. It's just.
Yeah.
And maybe by the time I'm ready, it will all fit on a narrow gauge flat car.
Well, and in Steve Anderson's typical mindset, he wants to know if you've ever messed with any of the locomotive drivers with a cow, a moose, or a hobo, or
Most of the
a
time,
damsel in distress tied to the tracks, anything like that.
most of the time when I see somebody running, I come down, I put my hand in front of the camera, and I let them
Mess with them that way. There you go.
A lot of the
What else we
times,
got here?
I may change the color of the room in here, and then I get a comment online, like, "Oh my gosh, it just turned dark in here." So, yeah. Oh yeah. Even about darkness. So the latest camera I got is amazing for night vision. I mean, I turn the lights off in the room, I still see some objects. It's pitch black in here. So yeah, even that has come a long ways too. I can run with like 5% room light now. So
Do you have an idea of how many people have this available on the layouts?
me,
Yeah, that's
no
it.
me,
Like, are you the only one?
like okay. There's who else makes a camera?
No, I'm just saying this whole idea
So you
of
see people like Jack's online YouTube, JAC.
right.
I've seen him put the choo-choo cam, and it's a large one though. Puts it on a flatbed car and lets people see. But everybody lets a video to let them see. I want people to control my locomotive. I want you to run it on my layout.
Right. Yeah.
So that's yeah. It's okay to sit and watch, but
Yeah. I only know of three that I can think of that has, and I'm sure there's probably more that we don't know of, but you could operate Heath's layout, you can operate his, and then Silicon Valley's. Those are the only three I know of. Of course, you can't operate Heath's now, but
you'll get
I
there.
suspect you might be able
That's-
to when he gets finished with it.
Yeah.
But I know his previous one you
I think
could.
he's going to do an overview. I see that he has numbers on the top of his cars, so you can know which one's which and switching. His is point to point. I went because I'm unattended here most of the time. Mine's a loop, and I leave it at one loop. You can only have one loop. I don't want you messing around.
Right.
Yeah, that's the big.
That would be a
that's the
whole
big thing.
nother level of I don't even know what the word is. Just next level would be to actually construct a railroad with the idea that a person could actually, operate it in a way that you would operate any other railroad. I've got here online is my switch list, and I have to go figure out where these cars are and take them from point A to point B, and there's a couple of spurs along the way. That would be kind of the next level to take it.
For me, my enjoyment is like I'll sit down at a rail yard and I'll listen to a locomotive and I'll watch it move. How the inertia of that huge mammoth machine. That's where I'm at, and that's what kind of started this and drove me to let's see how I can move. I mean, I set my decoders in my locomotive. I'm way less than a scale mile per hour when I start. It just inches along, and I wanna be the engineer. I want to let people experience what it's like.
Yeah, this would be really cool with steam, a steam engine. There's so much more to watch on a steam engine than there is a diesel.
I have
as far as
played
pressures
with
and stuff like that.
Yeah, I played with a screen to put it up there. Problem is, it's easy on a diesel to put the camera on the top, controls on the bottom. Steam is left and right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to run a steam train, so I'm going to have to learn to know what to do to make it go. Anybody can just click a throttle and go, but
Yes.
what does it take? What do I need to do to run a steam train?
Yeah.
I got no idea.
Yeah. Well, get a hold of Steve. Steve can tell you. Steve Arnold, who's not here this morning. He can tell you because he's got a 7-scale American 440 that he runs at Train Mountain. So, and it runs just like a regular steam train. You got to fire it up and get it up to pressure and watch the pressure and watch your water and all that stuff. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff to do with the steam train. The other one is
especially if you wanted to do it prototypically accurate.
Yeah. Well, it wouldn't be any reason to do it otherwise, I would think.
I think Darren's main camera froze up and his muted camera is working.
Yeah. Yeah, Darren, your camera that you got your sound on is frozen. I don't think you can hear us at all.
Can you unmute him, Claude?
No, I can't do anything to it. Hang on a second. Let me see what he's got here. Oh, he just took it off. Okay. Now I can unmute this one. No, I can't either. He's got it muted.
There you go.
Am I back?
There you go.
Yep.
There we go.
Yeah, your that one camera froze up, so you weren't getting anything.
I'm not sure if I'm back.
Yeah, you are.
Great. Yeah, I had the phone doing the audio on the charger and it overheat and it shut down. So I just unmuted the laptop and then. So I'm not sure what you last got from me.
Anybody else got any more questions? Let's see if anybody got any questions. Let me get somebody to run it.
Yeah, it's on.
Lynn wanted to know if it at some point will you get to a level that it becomes work. I'm not sure if that means getting paid, which you already have in order to run, you ask for a donation or something like that. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah. So it's the web page is costing me testing out the cameras. I buy one, I don't like that one. I hack it up so I can't return it to the people. That sort of thing. So yeah, it's costing me money, and then the next expense now is to make that web page where I can register people and layouts. So it would be nice if people pitched in on it. So the company in Toronto though did say that they would help me out
but they want a portion of the revenues from memberships on it. So I'm playing with the idea.
Yeah, they see this as going to be big.
I can't, yeah, exactly. I can't see this
Yeah.
not flying. Why wouldn't I want to be able to take the time and run on somebody's layout? Who's got a camera right now? Northlands.
Right.
I mean, they got one and they're playing around with it. Although I think they run it too fast. They're more of a entertainment sort of thing.
Yeah.
If they'll let me run on their layout, why not? Why wouldn't I want? They got what, 11 scale miles of track or something? It's phenomenal. I'd be there all day.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. So, like, yeah, I mean, I can see why it could generate some good revenue.
Yeah, everywhere. Orlando. I watch Florida guys in Orlando Society. They got a nice layout. There's a ton of great layouts. So
Roy says,
Why
we
build-
all get to play with other people's layout. Why build your own?
yeah,
Maybe
That's true. It'd be a lot cheaper to run on somebody else's.
but maybe
Yeah.
some people don't have the space, don't have the knowledge, don't have the money to invest in a layout. This is perfect for somebody like that.
Roy, I can explain this in this. Model railroad layouts are kind of like building RC airplanes. It's a labor of love.
Yep.
You don't do it because you're going to make money at it. You do it because you like doing it.
Yeah.
You're creating something. You got a creation thing in there. You're working with your hands. You're figuring out problems. There's all kind of model railroad. There's all kinds of stuff. So it's more than just the money aspect.
even for me, where can I go with this? What can I do, and how far can I push the envelope? I mean, signaling now. Do I make it automatic? Sensors underneath the track, so that when somebody's driving, they get the red, have to sit there for a minute, then you can go around. If you want to obey them, a lot of people don't. They just go around. I mean, yeah, it just for me, electronics, I just love it. And
I'm not sure that I would understand the signaling. Signaling is a mystery to me for the most part.
Red means stop. Green means go.
First of all,
Yeah.
if it isn't all red, you can go through it.
Yeah.
Do what?
If it isn't all red, you can go through it. There you go. Rule number one.
At what speed?
That's rule number two.
Yeah.
But he regulates the speed of it, so he can control
That's right.
kind of as you're not going to
Yeah,
go barrel
yeah.
through.
Like I said earlier, I chopped my speed decoder down to 30% of maximum because, well, one, being low to the ground, things look faster than normal. You know when you're in a car and you're low driving, you're like, wow, this is fast. In the camera, things look faster.
Fred Wall, good to see you, Fred. Didn't see you in a while. He says some owners are too remote to get a group together to operate their layout, like Dennis.
Exactly.
Remote operations adds to your crew sizes. That's true.
Yeah, I could definitely see where that would be an advantage. Like for me, I'm virtually always operating by myself, and having, just a simple passenger train going from point A to point B would offer some complications to running the railroad that might be fun.
Yeah.
Could be disastrous too, I suppose.
Yeah, the other thing I could see there, how do you uncouple cars? You'd have to have remote uncouplers, stuff like that, if you were going to have them switching remotely.
Yeah.
And if you're doing it for everybody, then you're running around like a chicken with no head doing all that stuff while they're running trains.
Right, that's why I was saying a passenger train, all you have to do is stop in front of a station. Me physically and in the railroad room, I would have to avoid the passenger train, so to speak, get my job done, and you could maybe have two different passenger trains coming through that you would have to wait on. And I would find that enjoyable, running a passenger train, and here's the station, time to stop.
Well, that's kind of why
25, all aboard.
that's kind of why I put the dual trackage in on mine, because I can set the standard gauge automated. The loops are automated, so I don't have to throw switches or anything. I can just turn it on and let it run. Now I can go to the narrow gauge yard and have to work out a train and get it across the tracks of the standard gauge to go up the mountain without hitting the train and another train. So it gives you some of that operational stuff. But yeah, remotely it'd be a challenge, I'm sure.
Yeah, the more fun you want to make your layout, the more it requires additional people, though.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, for me, I let it run. You can go around in a loop, but then people say, "Can I do some switching?" I need to be there.
Yeah.
You know, you need a conductor to say, "Okay, 3 to go back, 2 to go back, stop,
Right.
stretch."
Yeah,
So,
that's
and how do you know that it coupled and didn't couple? And yeah, that's just like the real one. You can sit in the cab and go, but
yeah.
you need help.
I didn't see Dave Todd in here this morning.
No, I didn't either.
I need to send him a note to watch this one.
It's probably busy.
Like I say, he would love seeing this too, I'm sure. Get him and Steve in here and get you back there sometime
Yeah, sure. I'd like that.
and let them go through it, because I'm sure they'd have fun doing that and talking about it too.
Online.
Yeah. Well, we got a couple minutes left. Anybody got any more questions? Oh, excuse me. Yeah, Fred, hope you're doing well. Haven't seen you in a while.
So if somebody wanted to run your layout, how would they do it, Darren?
There's I
On your
think the
YouTube
link,
link?
you can find me on YouTube. You can find the live stream. The live stream will have the instructions in the description. And then there's some links in there. Some people don't like the graphics user interface. It's like, oh, it's too confusing. There's a link in there if you want to use JMRI's traditional, slide up the bar, slide down the bar for a throttle. There you go.
Pretty simple.
Steve Anderson says, so are you going to start selling the camera cars at OVR?
Lauren at OVR is familiar with what I'm working with. I need to get the price down. The original camera car right here is way too expensive for people. The camera system itself is $250.
Yeah.
The flatbed cars I buy off of eBay, and they're not in production anymore. So people are gouging me for the price of them. I mean, it's another $100 just for the car. Each truck is $20. It all adds up, and I'm like,
Yeah.
who can afford to do this? So now I got the cameras coming from China. The last one was $25. That's 25 Canadian. That's so much better.
Yeah.
But still, I picked up off of eBay a flatbed car, and shipping, duties, taxes. I got it under 100 now. That's still it just all adds up. I wish there was a way that I could get things at wholesale. So
Yeah.
Maybe Lauren can start making cars or something.
yeah, that'd be nice. And someone can always get a camera off of me and put it in their own BoxCar or whatever you want to put it in. Or if you want to take the guts out of an old locomotive that's not running well, it'll fit in there easily.
Yeah.
I mean, they're so small now that the actual lens on the end of the ribbon, you can put it up in the windshield.
Steve Anderson says, well cars.
Do you have you have thought of well cars. Originally, I did put it in a well car, but again, the problem with a well car is it's one body. When the track curves, the well car
Right.
is
Yeah.
still pointing the picture here.
Yeah.
Whereas
Yeah.
I'll use this. This, whoops. Sorry, guys.
That's
This will
articulated.
turn, this will turn right away.
Yeah. You need something articulated.
Yeah, exactly. So that
Yeah.
when the body moves around the
Big boy.
curve. So
Yeah. How about 3D printing flat cars?
I like these because it's a metal body. I like the
Oh.
weight.
Gotcha.
The rest of it, I did talk to Bernie about 3D printing them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what about just putting, so a single truck, you know, like maybe a longer passenger truck, and finding just some way that you could attach it to whatever car you have behind it. And then is the ribbon cable flexible enough
Yeah,
to
ribbon-
allow it? Surely it is, because that's how that's working.
That's an option. Yeah. Again with this one though, basically this is one truck.
Yeah.
So I don't think you can get much shorter than that. Do you see
Yeah.
what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's basically what you're doing. You're pulling a car behind your. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't found anything better than this.
Well, Darren, thanks for being here and showing us your stuff. We're actually over time now.
Yeah.
And
Thanks.
Fred Walls had a good.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate
He
it.
said, if you ever thought of putting a camera on a servo so you can turn the camera that way.
Did we throw a link to his
Yeah,
site
Jerry put it up
anywhere?
a couple, 3 times.
Is
Yeah,
it
there is a
in the
link.
description of the video?
Oh, you got to
There
go
is
to
a-
go to the live stream, and then all the information is in the live stream.
Okay, so it is available in the description of the video as well.
No, it's not, but I'll put it in there.
Let's make sure we put that in there. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put it in the description after the
I
show.
appreciate that. Thanks.
All righty. Well, Darren, thanks again.
No, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Jerry and Dennis, thank you for being here. And guys, good to see everybody. Hope you have a good rest of your weekend and a good week. And we'll see you guys later.
Yep. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.